Testing, testing. Oh, much better, much better. Okay. Yeah, apparently I forgot to add my my audio source to this particular scene in OBS. This is my first stream to YouTube, so I'm still getting all the basics all set up and all that. How's everybody doing today? Appreciate you stopping by. In case you're doing so, today is going to be my first attempt at live streaming on YouTube in quite some time. This is exclusively because I can't do a simulcast stream anymore because I'm an affiliate with Twitch. So this is straight up to YouTube. We're trying to experiment today. We're going to see how things go. I'm going to also do some more recorded content at YouTube as well too. And going to try to mix things up a little bit to try to kind of get more engagement, yada yada yada, you know, the usual stuff. I sort of suspect that we might, hopefully we'll get some people curious to see what the stream is about, popping into chat and saying hello, which is always the goal, right? Today we're going to be playing Krastorio. I am an avid Factorio player. I've got almost 3,000 hours to the game under my belt over the past 5 years or however long it's been since the game was released. I haven't really played. I played with a lot of mods, but this is like, you know, kind of like my first foray into like not necessarily my first foray because I've actually had played this a little bit, but not extensively. I haven't gone past like the early science stages. But what I have played is a lot of, you know, Vanilla and Factorio Extended Plus, which is kind of like Vanilla plus a couple tiers of technology past that, so you get like faster belts and better turrets and, you know, all the good stuff and all that. I really enjoyed it. Excuse me, I really enjoyed that one. I think Factorio Extended Plus probably needs an update because they did some modifications to some of the like you know, a lot of the icons and all that's in the vanilla game, in the base vanilla game. So I think that mod probably is undergoing a bit of an overhaul. Sometimes they kind of disappear for a while and then they reappear. So they go, oh, here's the new updates. So I'm sure that's what's happening in the back end. So we're just waiting a little bit. In the meantime, we got Krastorio. Krastorio is a overhaul mod. Basically, it for very early game, it's fairly similar. But when you start getting into even like, you know, some of the base sciences and all that, it has a tendency to get very different very quickly. The fact that like wood, for example, is a key component in making circuit boards, for example, comes into play pretty quickly. So a lot of the strategies that I've used for Vanilla Vanilla Factorio aren't really going to come into play on account of the fact that the things like a main bus, for example, just becomes extremely impractical because of just the sheer number of intermediary items that you have to deal with. And so you can either like put those intermediary items into a main bus, or you have to basically craft them on the spot, and it just gets really messy really fast. So it's going to be more of a spaghetti style factory, kind of a sprawl. And looking forward to it. And we're going to make some changes too with regards to how the game is set up. So this is kind of like I'm doing baby steps in this mod, so we're going to be making the game a little bit easier for us, so we not have this anxiety dealing with biters and all that. So we're not going to disable them entirely, but we're going to make them a little less dangerous. So all right. Next. All right. Excuse me. Import the map exchange strings from the other save game that I already have in place. So these are basically real world settings. I usually play with real world settings or slightly modified real world settings. Also because I like my ore patches to be farther apart from each other. It gives me a little bit more room to build. I hate building on top of ores, so, you know, this kind of like gives me that opportunity. And it kind of offset the fact that you have fewer ores because they're further apart. You know, you just increase their size a little bit. You could also increase their richness too, so you could have like rich ores. But having the large ores is kind of nice because it gives more miners have access to the ores. If you have rich ores, and it just simply takes longer for the ore patch to deplete. It doesn't give you like more ores to begin with. So, um, but since we're playing Krastorio 2, we got all the vanilla stuff here, plus 3 additional ones: Amercite, rare metals, and mineral water. And these are just either mid or late game type materials. We won't be worrying about any of this in the early game because they're not necessarily necessary. So early on, you're going to have this standard stuff. One thing that's important to note too is that in Krastorio, stone is a much more important resource than it is in vanilla, because stone is required to make sand and silicon and a bunch of other items that would not be possible without having stone as a base. Yeah, so we're gonna have like stone as one of our. Stone's going to become a much more important resource in the early to mid game, and quite possibly the late game as well too. Because I think glass is kind of like one of those things that is important throughout the game, even up to late game. Hey, I'm fuzzy. It's better. All right. So that's the resources. Terrain, I like to play with the water set to maximum scale and maximum coverage. You should see what that looks like when I do the preview. Basically what that does is it gives large land masses that are surrounded by large oceans. If I had the scale down to normal here with this coverage, all that would do, I'll show you what the preview looks like here, is it would basically convert a lot of the land into ocean. And this would be an interesting map to play as well too, but there's not a lot of room to move around here or build on, so you'd end up having to landfill a lot of places in order to build anything decent. So I like to increase the scale a little bit, and scale just basically gives me that same land structure, but it also kind of makes it much bigger. So I have plenty of room to build on, but I'm still bounded by large oceans, so it kind of gives me a little bit of it makes the terrain a little bit more interesting to work with, I think. If I were to do this and this, I'd still get roughly the same amount of land around the area, but the main problem is that these would no longer be oceans; they'd just be seas. And I played it on vanilla maps. I did actually just play it on vanilla map with all the vanilla settings and all that not too long ago. And I'm not particularly fond of this setup because it makes choke points a little less important. I like having choke points, so put that up to here. We're going to leave cliffs set to normal. I know some players don't like cliffs, and I, for one, particularly enjoy them. Well, not so much enjoy them. I think that they're part of the game. They're part of the challenge in the early game. In the late game, or in the mid game and the late game, they become irrelevant. You just have they become more annoying than anything, because you have to haul all these cliff explosives with you all over the place. But I think in the early game they're kind of important, and they kind of are there to kind of bound you, because you notice in the starting area you're kind of surrounded by these cliffs, and that's important because that basically kind of keeps you in this area, and if you want to build outside of it, well, you have to go outside your natural boundary. That's something to take into account as well too. Everything else I just kind of leave set to normal, so we still got the usual terrain generation. And just to kind of confirm too, yeah, we got some, ooh geez, that's going to be a royal pain in the ass there. Well, we do have some copper nearby, we have some stone nearby, we even have some coal not too far. Oh, there's a nice little coal patch right there. So we have some pretty decent patches nearby. I'm not a big fan of this here though. All three, in the starter patches, Krastorio does this for some reason. I don't know if that's just a byproduct of there being just simply more ores in the area that have to generate all in the same place. But the starting ore patches are all glammed together, so it's oh god, now I gotta do early game splitters, and yeah, it's I'm not a big fan of it. But yeah. One of my change too, like I said, I did make the biters a lot less dangerous. Now in railroad settings, the enemy expansion is disabled by default. You can enable it. In fact, oftentimes I do re-enable it. Although I do kind of scale it back a little bit just because I think the enemy expansion can get a little bit annoying. So I kind of like dial it back a little bit to be slightly less so. But I still like a little bit of a challenge, so it's a little bit of a balance. But in this case, I'm disabling it. I'm leaving it disabled. And I also decrease the size, so the size is down to 50%, so the biter nests are actually significantly less than 50%. I think this scale's slightly misleading. But got to scale down to 50% so that they're smaller, but they're the same frequency. So there's the same number of them floating around out there, but they're not quite as many of them. Starting area size, I just have to set 300%. Just because, again, just kind of pushing the biters back a little bit, giving me a little bit of breathing room. Early game Krastorio does produce more pollution than early game vanilla because you just need more resources at the get-go. And you don't get turrets until you get at the second stages of science, which is the red science, and which is past the basic science. And so you end up like, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge to just simply have to deal with the biters just in your face, because they will get aggroed immediately, and you don't have anything to defend against because you don't really have a lot of the defense capabilities that you would normally have. Because in vanilla, you have red science, you have turrets. You can get turrets almost right away. So you can set up defenses right away, and you can't do that with Krastorio. It takes a little bit of time, so you end up running around a lot. It's not a lot of fun. Believe me, I've tried it, and it's like, you know what, screw this, I'm not having any fun. I'm pushing the biters back, 300% starting area. Evolution, I also dialed back. This is a quarter of what the setting, so normally this is like 2209 by default, and I set it down to 550 and 2. So this pollution factor evolution is even less than a quarter. It's like 2/9, which is 22%. So it's kind of close to a quarter. I rounded down. Yeah, this is not a biter challenge game at all. I want the biters to be there, and I want to have to deal with them, but I don't want to make them. Why the heck is my camera doing that? Okay, that's better. So it doesn't usually do that, which is kind of unusual. So the biters will be there, and the biters are actually important, Krastorio, because you have the biter matter, the biomass, that's what they call it. So the biomass is there to keep for military science, I believe, early on, and I think it's also useful later on. Now, later in the game, you can actually produce your own biomass, so you don't necessarily need to go out and kill the biters' nests, but in the early game, you definitely do. So that's just like a manual. That's like one of the manual harvesting aspects of the game. So there is that. So that's all good. And of course, the most important setting in any game, whether I play vanilla or Krastorio, research queue availability is set to always. Why this isn't set to the default, I don't understand. I saw their reasoning for it on one of their Friday Facts posts, or Friday Fun Facts, Friday Factorio Facts, the FFFs, right? And they talked about this, and they said, well, we wanted to make it so that people have to work towards this goal and all this, and it's like, yeah, but it should be available always, because why not? It just makes more sense. And so, because like when you launch that rocket, chances are you don't really need the research queue availability as badly as you do in the early game. So it's like, it is what it is, I guess. All right, so that's how that works. Everything else is set to default here. Map is unlimited, recipe is normal, technology normal, price multiplier is normal. I think I might try a vanilla game one of these days and play around with that. Oh yeah, we got oil nearby too, that's really good. That'll come in really handy, plus a big old stash of mineral water in case we need that. We got some uranium, some imersite, some rare metals. It's probably not going to be until a late game kind of thing. So actually, we don't have like a lot of rare metals in the outlying area. So there's some up here. So that might be a challenge that we might have to deal with, is dealing with the rare metals. But the rare metals, is my understanding, is sort of more of a late game kind of thing. So we might not even have to worry about that. Alright. Let's go to mod settings. Let's double check those. We got alien biomes. We leave all those to default. Clockwork. Capacity multiplier is set to 4. Yep. Just for the accumulators. Fluid must flow. I wish that these accumulator, like if they're gonna like adjust the capacity, they might like want to adjust, like for example, the recipes so that they require like say 4 times as many batteries. I think that that's actually a pretty good trade-off. But yeah. It would also affect recipes down the line too, and I understand that accumulators are also used for, doing things like satellites and other fun things too. Although this is Krastorio, I don't think there are satellites in this. There might be, but I haven't gotten to late game yet, so we haven't been sure. Fluid must flow, we leave those to default. Krastorio 2, I believe these are all set to default as well too. We can increase these if we really wanted to, but we're not going to. Yeah, it's Krastorio, yep. That's if we wanted to be cheaty, and we're not going to be cheaty. We're already being kind of cheaty as is. Well, technically not, but it's kind of what we're doing. Finite oil. So this game is a little different from vanilla. Oil is a finite resource instead of an infinite resource. I believe that is the same for mineral water as well too. Peaceful mod. Be prepared that military technology will be expensive. Well, yeah, but that's okay if you're playing with peaceful mod though. You don't care if military technology is expensive because you don't have to worry about the biters. Alright, infinite technology, yes. Substation, yes. All of these are good. Allows exoskeleton and Spidertron. Allows to put exoskeletons into Spidertron equipment grids. Why this isn't enabled by default, I'm kind of curious. Main menu background. Krastorio-chan! Oh, speaking of music, I'm gonna dial down. There's a super quiet song that was playing when I went live, so I turned it up a little bit and I can turn it down. Alright, and extended end game. We're probably not going to get to the end game in this playthrough, since I'm still practice running. I think what I'll probably end up doing is I'll get to about the mid game, flail around a little bit and fail spectacularly, and then I'll probably end up starting over with the lessons learned. But we'll leave this enabled because, just in case we do like amazing for some reason and we just want to continue on, but not that big a deal. Alright, confirm. Check preview again really quick. Double check all the things. At least coal is separate. Got that going for us. I don't think those are cliffs, but those could potentially be cliffs. We'll have to double check. And we're not doing any kind of like main bussy kind of things, so it's all going to be kind of spaghetti-ish. We'll have plenty of room in here for sure, at least, for the first tiers of science, so it's not going to be a big deal. Matter surrounding me, that's probably going to be like a worm or a collection of worms. So I don't see any like big dots indicate a biter nest or anything like that, so. Alright. I think I procrastinated long enough. Let's hit play. to Krastorio. Krastorio is created thanks to the support and kind words of many people from all around the world. Thank you. Also want to give special thanks to Krastorio developers and people who have been very active in supporting us. Yep. Yeah, they got a shout out, not one but two shout outs from the Factorio devs. And some people, they keep the wreckage around because they want to kind of keep like a marker of where they started the game and all that. We will not be doing that. We will be clearing this out. Oh, I was like, why am I not harvesting? Oh, okay, I was like, wait, there might be something in there. 8 pistol magazines. I've got a big enough area where I shouldn't have to worry about that, but we'll see. Alright. The Sentinels don't do much, they're like basically little tiny radars. Oh, that was, had some stuff in there. Yay, they updated the sprite for this. I did not like the old sprite. Yeah, the number of debris that they have lying around, I think, has increased a little bit. They must have, like, changed that sometime since the last time I played. Oh, there's a shelter. Alright, let's make a bunch of those. Okay. So, a deer. Yeah. Power production is pretty low. Let's see here. We want to start making these. In order to make that, we need to make copper cable and this. So what I usually do is I have this up to make the copper cable. Alt. Always have alt mode enabled. And this will actually make the card. Now, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do this because it's usually like these things are like located right next to one of these guys. Yep. Now this guy could actually supply like 3 of these things once we actually start making like these. But we're gonna like kind of hold off a little bit. Get a few more of these in here. I'm gonna need to chop down a few more trees. There's a few up there, and hey, they're in a spot where I want to clear them out anyways. And over here. And feed you. Alright, so research. What do we want to research? This one seems important, so we're going to start with the military stuff. This also seems a little important. Yeah, we need to get light armor. For sure, because we can't even do that. And the iron pickaxe is going to be an important one as well, too. And then following that, we're going to do like automation. This. That and this. So it's good to me. Now look at, you notice here that we're already like pretty much, so if I were to like enable this, we probably would be going over our allotted space here, so we got to be a little bit careful. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get some of this all set up now. For coal, the usual rules apply for early game setup. And all you gotta do is just gotta set up a bunch of Oh, this is horrible. Oh man, I do not like this at all, because look at that, the iron is split up not into 1 but 2 different chunks. Right. Yikes. Oh boy. Well, I mean, that's not horrible. We got iron nearby. I mean, here's an iron spot, so that's not like the end of the world. Alright, so 528. Cool. Right. What we'll do is 510. Okay. Confirm. 365. And 270. I might as well do this too. So 733 raw metals. It is, that's enriched. There's the raw, there we go. Let's go ahead and do the rest of these. We don't have anything else in here, but I always like to do this anyway. So 2.0 million. Your iron. Your 1.2 million. That'll do it. All right. Let's do 15. That'll bring us to a total of 16. We might need more because, like I said, early game Krastorio does tend to go a little bit crazy on the very early game. In vanilla, like when you set up your burner inserters, the goal is to try to get away from burner inserters as quickly as possible because they kind of suck. Electric inserter, or I'm sorry, did I say inserters? Burner drills you want to get away from as quickly as possible because they are bad. It is much better to go with the electric ones in terms of efficiency and all that. But in Krastorio, you're kind of like, oh, of course I had to do it like the weird way. One, two, three, four. You end up spending a lot more time in the burner inserter stage because it just simply takes longer to get to the electric mining drills. Right. And now for this, let's do like 12 of these. And then 6. Okay, these are not cliffs. I was a little worried that we'd have like cliffs in the middle of everything, and that is indeed not the case. By the way, one of the first items that we'll be getting rid of early in the game is this guy. This will be the first item, because we'll be able to make science labs pretty early on in the game, and so we will go ahead and just simply, take him out of the equation. Alright, so in this game it's a little bit different. The ratios are something different here, so there we go. That should be sufficient. Let's go ahead and do the same for that. All right, and last but not least, 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Ah! Got you actually have to set these up to... Right. Boom, 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 doo, doo. And we'll just fill these up. I'm not going to worry about stone quite yet. There. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to peel back the fog of war a little bit. I'm not going to engage any biters, but I am going to go ahead and try to see what we got going on out here. And we'll start out from up here. Okay, we found some more stone. Getting dark. I'm just peeling back a little bit this direction because this is where the pollution cloud is going to start heading over to. And oh my god, this is so much. So one thing I forgot about in vanilla is that trees have a larger collision box than the alien biomes does. Alien biomes reduces the size of these trees' collision boxes. So when I was playing my vanilla game on the chill build server, I ended up sitting there trying to go, trying to walk through forest. So I'm like, why can't I walk through this forest? Why am I running into so many trees? I'm like, oh yeah. I'll just kind of come over here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And up we go. Yeah, so I'll have to come back up here too and kind of see where we're at with that because we are producing a lot of pollution. That's fine. I should make 8 more of these. Hey, look at that. We got ourselves some, so now I'm going to go ahead and now we'll head back over here. I think what I'm going to do, because since trees are kind of like a resource that we kind of have to... There we go. Oops, there we go. And how? Alright, we are officially out of that, but that's okay, we got that. Alright, first order of business, because this guy is really not going to be able to handle our load for very long, so we need to go ahead and start doing an additional power supply. Now this is not intended to take the place of steam power, but let's see here. If I recall correctly, it's 26, which is actually 1, 2, 5, 6. Alright, so let's go ahead and clear this area out. Nope, 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 nope. And while I'm at it here, boom. Boom. Oh. There we go. Sure. Interesting that we have ducks already, but we don't actually have like a spider creep. Oh, yeah, that's one thing I need to do. Do our machine gun. And some machine gun bullets. Time to head up here. Let's see what, I don't want any unexpected surprises, so let's take a look at what the biter stitch looks like up here. Still producing science, which is good. Kind of circle around this way. Now I happen to know that 26 is the number that I need because I've done this before. Pollution cloud is not coming down nearly as far in this direction. We have not seen any biters yet, but that's because of the 300% starting area, which is fine. Hey, we found oil. Let's just start marking these on the map. Ah, yep, I forgot about that. Uranium hurts a lot, by the way. I was like, what the heck's happening? Oh yeah, radiation damage. There we found our coal. I sort of feel like that this is a good one to go with next, because we'll be researching automation tech cards pretty early on. We want to do that as soon as possible, because without that we won't have access to things like underground belts and electric inserters. We have to stuck with the burner inserters until the appropriate time. It's 11:15. So incidentally, later on today, I'm going to be doing a Watch Me Work stream. I forgot to announce my current stream on Twitter, which kind of explains why I'm getting some lower viewership numbers at the moment. But the idea is that I'm going to be working on a project that has been kind of sitting in the back burner for ages, and I keep coming back to it and I keep abandoning it. And I'm setting some goals for myself. I want to try to see if I can get it finished by 2022. Or at least, like, you know, a prototype version out there, alpha, as it were. And it's going to be, I think, I'm really excited about it because not many games have been developed using this particular model that I've been using. I mean, some have, but usually it's the types of games that are constantly, like, for example, Farmville, if you recall, was a web-based game, and it was rightly so. Oh, what am I doing? Satisfaction is low. I did it, didn't I? Alright, so I gotta fix that. That's easy, though. No worries. Yay! Alright, just having those 9 in there, like, was helpful. This doesn't seem right. I compacted these as close together as I could, and usually that came out to be 6. Oh. That's why. Alright. I was like, I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, that's a whole row. Alright. Now we're back up to full power, and now we are able to do this. And in fact, what we can do here is intermediary iron gear wheel. Why can't we? Oh, here it is. Alright, you're the gears, and you're going to be this. Okay. And we're going to keep you busy for a bit. Even distribution, I love you. The pollution cloud looking. We're doing safe. We're safe. And now we'll kind of like get. Like, oh, it's down here. I'm like, I'm already losing my base. Where is it? Oh, something I just remembered too. I need to have. This will kind of help things a little bit as well too. Yeah, we'll just put that there. Nice about having this is like basically the shelter's just like having like a ginormous chest. So that's kind of handy as well too. And we're just going to clear out some of these additional items here. Having construction robots in the early game is so handy. I don't do this in the early with Vanilla or even Factorio Extended Plus, because it is a little bit cheaty. I mean, these guys are about as good as having bots around, but I mean, they can't fly through the air is basically the only difference. You can build more of them too, so like if you lose them, you can actually get more of them if you want to. Alright, notice that I said the first thing I'm going to do here with regards to automation is I'm going to go ahead and remove this guy, but in order to do that I need to build a few of these guys, and this guy can actually support 3 of them. That'll help kind of like kick up our production usage a little bit. Okay. Now again, we're running into that point where we're running low on power, so we just basically got to double our production output here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. And from that, we can go ahead and disassemble this. There we go. didn't really do much because that guy there produced almost like next to nothing with regards to power, or consumed next to nothing with regards to power. All right, let's go and grab some more coal. Okay, we're kind of like pushing power up here. Let's go ahead and mark these guys, 8.7 million. Stone, this is coal, 7.5 million. Uranium, sure, why not? 5.7 million. I think that's all we found so far. I know that we got more, like this is copper. No, that's not copper. Not sure what that is. Oh, that looks like it might be amersite. Okay. I don't think there's anything else around here that we need to be concerned about. I think we're good. Here we go. Okay. This will be pretty soon on our list, but this will get taken down when we start doing steam power. Because this guy only produces 740 kilojoules of power, and one of these guys produces 750 kilojoules a kilo. Watts? Wait. Power by 740. Okay, so yeah, this guy. I mean, as long as we have him online, that's like basically free energy. But when it gets down to it, you know, eventually we're going to get to the point where it's just simply going to be in the way. All right, and now I can finally do this. Boom, boom. Feel like we should probably just do that. You keep doing that. Yeah, their pathfinding is a little goofy, and they keep coming out with, you know, bug fixes for the pathfinding. For the construction drones, which is fine, you know. Grab some fish. Yeah, like I said, their pathfinding is kind of goofy, and I guess that's part of their charm. If there were any better, then they'd probably be OP. Dump you in there just in case we need you. Okay, I think we're gonna have to come up here because this is where the next cloud is. Again, I'm going again. I don't want surprises. I need coal. I don't have any coal because I used all my coal. So let's grab some coal, some copper, and some iron. We're at it. Some ammunition. Oh, and one other thing that's also very important is that. Okay, we go, bringing this up here. Or we're not bringing anything up there, we're just kind of like... That's good enough. Scroll out as much as we can. Excellent, alright. And here we're just extending out the fog of war a little bit further. Or, I'm sorry, not extending the fog of war, pushing back the fog of war. We're doing the opposite of extending the fog of war. It's the fog of war is bad. Well, it's not necessarily inherently bad or good. It's just, you know, it is. But we don't want to like have this unknown sitting out here. All right, so there we go. We have our first biter nest. I'm gonna kind of steer clear from it a little bit for now, because we don't have like even armor at the moment. I'll go ahead and... As long as we steer clear from it, we're not gonna aggro it, so that's fine. I could potentially take out that biter nest, but I'm going to be kind of reflexive in my gameplay. We found some more biter nests, and this one's a 2 biter nest. Biter base? Biter nest? I don't know. I figure while I'm out here, I'm just going to go ahead and clear this way, even though the area to the west is probably a little bit more dangerous at the moment. Because that is where our pollution cloud is currently extending. Oh yeah. Hey, we found our. Oh, I forgot about the oil. That was the one thing I was going to mark on the map. I wonder if the reason why Alien Biomes doesn't have as big a hitbox for their trees is simply because there's just more of them in general. Hey, look at that. Alright. Again, I'm not going to try to aggro them, but I am going to walk around them a little bit. That should be enough room. That's just a single spawner. Hey, we got a worm. The worm does not contribute to evolution. Okay, it's almost noon here, which means I'll probably be wrapping up this stream. I don't want to like have this extend out to be like a 8-hour stream or anything along those lines, and I'll be doing one a little bit later. Doing something a little bit different, though I won't be playing Factorio, although I probably will be later tonight, but oh, that's a nest. All right. Walk around it. Oh, there's our iron patch. Yeah. Ba-ba-bum. There's the mysterious Emersite that we kind of saw sitting around there. All right, this does take a little bit of time, but it is kind of critical that we kind of get an idea of where our biter nests are if we need to like start getting a little bit proactive and taking them out. Because I don't want to, we don't have turrets yet, and so if the pollution cloud starts getting to the point where they are, in fact, aggroing biter nests, and hey, look at that, there's one right there. That's a crude oil patch. Let's try not to get too close to those guys. We have second oil. But what about second oil? So I'm playing a game right now where I have like 4 exoskeletons in my inventory, or in my equipment grid. And coming back to this, it's just like, God, this is so slow. Oof. And we can't quite make it all the way down there, not without aggroing these guys. At least the pollution cloud is far enough away from them where it's not that much of a concern. So. Important to note, we didn't dial down the frequency of the biter nests, but we did dial back on both their evolution and their size. That'll be the last of it. I just want to make sure we don't aggro these guys, so let's kind of like steer clear of them. Again, not too close, so we don't have to worry about them quite yet. But they are going to become a concern here fairly soon. I want to say that they're probably going to be the first ones we're going to have to worry about. And the fact that there are like 3 nests in there is kind of like a little bit concerning. And I keep leaning this direction because that's usually where my microphone is, and I'm wearing a headset at the moment, so I shouldn't have to worry about that too much. Oh, hey, look, we found another patch. Excellent. Oh, hey, that's a... Oh, God, these biter nests. Oh, no, this is going to be the guy that we're going to have to deal with. Alright, that's fine. Just going to go around you this way. I'm going around this way because I don't want to get caught between these guys and any other dudes that happen to be over there and accidentally aggroing them. Because I do have ammo, I do have armor. See, look right there. There's a guys like right there. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to deal with them sooner rather than later. Of course, once we like run out of basic science here. Oh, look at that. Managed to clear up the last of the unexposed terrain. I was kind of surprised that we're still producing science here because I wasn't exactly sure how much wood we left behind. So we'll go back home, we'll mark the other one of these patches, we'll kind of like get set up, and then I think we'll start getting steam power going, and on top of that we will start getting automation going. Oh, look at that. That was the perfect amount of time. We got a little bit of extra wood. I need more wood, I think. I forgot to put one of those down. We could have been attacked while we were away from... I mean, I didn't have any worries about that, but it might have happened. Oh. You know, we'll just grab these. I'm not going to worry about... Sure, why not? Sure, why not? Then I guess our next goal should be we should go ahead and we'll do an offshore pump. Do 5 of those, what the hell. And I think we'll do is, I think we'll start with like 4 of these, followed by 8 of these. Then we'll do 10 of these. And I know we got plenty of these, but I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 50 more of those. Okay. And because I plan on like clearing all these out pretty soon, actually, I'm just gonna like build my starts here, and I'll just build my electrical power over in this direction. Because I think what the idea is we're gonna mine all this stuff. We're gonna have our smeltery kind of up here, and then we're just gonna kind of point in this direction here to kind of like get our factory going. So we'll just kind of like wrap around this lake here within these cliffs. And we got plenty of room for that sort of thing. All right, so last thing I'm going to do before I end today's stream is 23 million. That's a lot. I was just playing Vanilla Factorio. And 2.0 million. Never site. Just didn't want to override that, so 26 million. Yeah, I've been getting kind of used to playing like Vanilla Factorio with all the vanilla settings, and so like I'm looking at these patches going, God, these things are huge, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's because I'm playing with Railroad settings. And that's 3.7 million. I'm doing these just offset to the right, mainly because they're too close. This one is already, yeah, it's kind of too close. If the icon is too close to the actual ore itself, I can't hover over the ore. So I have to go a little bit further. 3.7 million Ammersite. There, much better. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I just have to keep that in mind. So it's 3.0 million. So we got ourselves a good oil patch. We have 2 oil patches actually. Mineral water is 11 million. There's a patch down here, and that's 1.1 million. So you have 2 choices for our starter oil base. Was there anything else around here? Couldn't explore down there because that guy was in the way. Just making note of what guys around here are close to our pollution cloud. So yeah, as you can tell, like we haven't even gotten past like the very earliest stage of the game. This is like if in vanilla we were still producing like green science with our burner inserters and all that. So I know some people do that, but in this particular case, we want to try to get out of that as quickly as possible. So we're getting steam engine power, which will allow us to do the automated assemblers. So once we get automated assemblers, then we can start doing our red science, which goes beyond the basic science. And so red science, and we can do green science, and green science is going to be the last tier of science that requires basic science. So we won't be doing the basic science cards anymore after a while. So then we can decommission those. But then we have to start worrying about military science and utility science. No, that's utility science is yellow science. Production science. Is it? Automation, basic tech card, automation tech card. These blank tech cards, which are the templates for these guys, but not for these guys. So. Oh. Totally missed that guy. Yeah, we can always move these. Oh shit. Maybe not that much though. 3 is fine. Alright, so I think we'll move these downwards. Yep. So as a result, we want to kind of point these upwards. Alright. And to start off with, look at that. Just having these over here, now we're up to 7.8 megawatts. That's how quickly this is. We can now get rid of this. Let's come over here, grab some of these items. That guy I'm getting a little worried about. Yeah, there's one thing that we're kind of low on. It's wood. So that's something we'll have to kind of like take into consideration. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. I'm kind of happy with this. We're going to replace this whole setup with an actual setup from here, but we have to build like the electric mining drills, which is not going to happen quite yet, but it will. Up here is when we're going to start setting up our smeltery areas. Now this will tend to take away some of the pollution absorbing capabilities of these trees here since we're chopping them down. But one, we need the wood. And two, I don't know why I was carrying around this stuff with me. Drop it off in these guys. Keep forgetting that we have like additional rocks up here. Don't have any wood up here. Alright, you can stand up here. Alright, so yep, our next goal is going to be... Yeah, we just got these 2 sciences left. I don't believe there's any more basic science after that, so... next goal will be to get up to the automation. That's what it's called, the automation tech here. Automation tech card. And once we get that, and again, look at that, my camera keeps on zooming in and out whenever I do that. So strange. It's probably because, oh, I know why. It's because I'm moving off center, so it focuses on the green screen behind me. But green screen is not very something that can focus on very well because of the it is a flat surface with no contrast. So yeah. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save the game. I'm going to end the stream. Thank you all for watching those, and I'm going to go ahead and save this and move this into a playlist. So we're going to like start this as a new thing. I'm going to be doing YouTube videos, and we'll be doing a combination of live recordings and recorded material, and we're just going to kind of see how things kind of move forward. I'm definitely not abandoning Twitch. I'll be moving back to Twitch once I kind of like figure out what works and what doesn't work. So there's going to be a little bit of experimentation around. One thing I did forget to do is I forgot to announce my stream on Twitter and social media. But that's fine, because now I get like data on organic growth, and the data so far is there's absolutely no people have actually come in to watch the stream live and streaming, so that's okay too. I mean, it's just good to know. We'll see how that evolves over time as I start to extend my reach and kind of like do a little bit more advertising of all this, and try to encourage people to come join on the stream and you know, create more content, as it were, and get you know, people kind of like actively participating because I don't want to be like screaming out into the void. That's just boring. Anyway, well, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it very much, and we'll see you again soon.